Bob Sawatzky began playing softball in elementary school in his hometown of Hague, Saskatchewan. He took to the sport right away, playing all through his school years. And by the time he was in high school, he had become a formidable player, particularly known for his hitting.
I grew up in a small community just north of Saskatoon, and living in a small community, you played two sports. You played ball in the summertime, you played hockey in the wintertime, and a little bit of curling on the side if you weren't good enough to make the hockey team. That was the attitude. And needless to say, when I came to Saskatoon to attend university, I began playing more serious ball.
Those skills took him to Calgary, Alberta, where he would play on different top-tier teams for the next 10 years. In that time, he was part of 6 Alberta provincial championship teams, winning a silver medal at the Canada Summer Games in 1969. That same year, he was the All-Star second baseman and batting champion at the Canadian Senior Men's Championships.
Having completed my degree, my wife and I moved to Calgary, and on a bit of a lark, I decided to try out for their team, which I knew was a very strong team, and they were called the Power Chief Braves at the time, with the likes of Whitey Haley and Peter Savinkoff, and names some of the older people would be very familiar with in the softball circles. And playing in Alberta, we won many consecutive provincials and went to the Canadian Championships and were successful there as well.
As his softball career advanced, Sawatzky made the transition from player to coach. Having returned to Saskatchewan, he began coaching with Saskatoon's Automatic A's. From 1980 to 83, the A's won 4 straight provincial senior men's championships. The A's were also successful nationally, winning medals at the Canadian Championships in 1980, 81, and 1983. In 1981, the team traveled to Japan, where they won the gold medal in the Nishi Japan Cup. In 1983, they went to Japan again, this time winning a bronze at the Lions Brown International Mini World Tournament.
Having played in Calgary for all of these years and then returning to Saskatoon in 1980, I was at the age where I couldn't be as competitive as I'd like to be against some of the younger players, and I was asked to coach. And I coached the Automatic A's, and we won provincial championships for a number of consecutive years, and we're successful in Canadian championships as well. Never won the gold, but we did win silver, and we did win bronze.
By 1983, Sawatzky was coaching on Canada's national senior men's softball team. He helped the national team win a gold medal at the 9th Pan American Games in Venezuela. He was coaching on the team again in 1987, when they repeated as gold medal winners at the Pan Am Games in Indianapolis. He was with the team again in 1988, winning a bronze at the International Softball World Men's Championships in Saskatoon. His last time coaching with the national team was at the Pan Am qualifying tournament in 1990, and once again, the Canadians came away with the gold medal.
The Pan American Games, North and South America, there are many pockets of excellent softball in the United States, and many of these players played the game of baseball, and if they weren't drafted and didn't make it into the majors, many of them took up softball. And so they were excellent players, but it wasn't as popular a game in the States as it was in Canada at that time. But needless to say, they were good players, and we would almost anticipate that the final game would be the Canadians versus the Americans. And in previous Pan Ams, the Americans had been successful. And in this Pan Am game with our all-star team in 1983, we met the Americans in the final game. And yes, we very, very competitive, excellent ball, and we were successful.
Sawatzky did not leave competition on the field completely behind. In 1990 and 91, he played second base on the provincial championship Masters softball team. The 91 team was the silver medalist at the Western Canadian Championships. Though he's taken a step back from high-level competition, Sawatzky has continued to support softball. In his more than 27 years in the game, he's fostered growth in the sport through clinics for both players and coaches throughout the province.
To be inducted into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame is an honor. I've attended the event on a few occasions, and the class of athlete and builder that has been inducted in the past, to be associated with all of them, what more can you say? It's a privilege and an honor. somewhat undeservedly sometimes, I feel.